This masterclass is hosted by Eskimi. And just a quick introduction about Eskimi. Eskimi is an ad tech platform with a focus on Africa, Europe, Asian markets. We own our own management platform, which is called a demand-side platform, whereby we bid for advertising space on behalf of brands, on behalf of agencies. So today I'm going to walk you through some of the latest innovations in programmatic advertising. There have been a lot of changes and a lot of evolution when it comes to digital advertising. And we've seen a lot of trends, even not just locally, but also from a global perspective in terms of global marketing trends. So I want to take you through some of the latest programmatic advertising trends that you need to incorporate into your marketing activities. So the first one being the gaming audience. Sorry, I think I'll have to switch my mic because I need to keep looking at the screen, so just give me a minute. Okay, I think this is better. So the first one being gaming audience. So gaming audience are growing at a rapid pace. How many of you here have a gaming app on their phone? Any gaming app? Yes, I see a hand here. I see a hand there. Here as well. So gaming audience are growing at a very rapid pace. Some of the data that we have is 50% of mobile usage is usually actually outside of work. 33% of people play mobile games multiple times per day, while 23% are playing new games on their smartphones. So gaming audience is increasing quite significantly, and this is something you need to incorporate into your marketing activities. Like if you want to reach your target audience when they're online, you can think of them when they're browsing or when they're playing those in-app games on their phones. Then also some of the data that we look at least 1 hour per day, consumers play video games as well. So this is part of an online audience that you don't want to miss in terms of reaching out to them. Then the next trend is with regard to creatives. So creatives is going digital. We've seen a big evolution from using traditional creatives for digital channels, and where we are now, where creatives are being built from a digital-first perspective. So we are adapting like traditional creatives for digital. I don't know how many times you've come across like an ad on TV, and then the next you see the same ad like on YouTube or across different sites and apps, and it's almost like same creative that has been adapted for online platform. So just to give you some perspective when it comes to digital first paced creatives, we have some of the innovative formats like rich media creatives that gives a result of over 456% better engagement as compared to when you use like traditional creatives or when you just use like normal static banner ads, when you serve ads across different sites and apps. So some examples of rich media creatives are what you can see on my screen. These are innovative ads that your target audience can interact, can engage, and they give you better brand recall, better brand visibility, better engagements. They have like 456% engagement as compared to traditional banners or static banners. And what you can see on my screen are some of the examples of rich media formats, basically. Still on rich media, let me showcase some examples for rich media in Kenya. So these rich media ads, like I mentioned, they give better visibility, they give better engagement, and you're even able to collect data, like this one for Coop Bank that you can see on my the first creative, basically. So we were running a lead generation campaign for Toyota. And someone could actually, show interest, buy a car, or, if they want to get like more information by filling in the details right on the banner without clicking and going through to the website. So we have this one for CopBank, and then the second one, we had that for KCB as well. And I think at the moment we are currently running a campaign for KCB for Rally, which it's incorporated with like a video element. And that is how it appears across different sites and apps when you're browsing online. So it gives you better visibility, gives you better engagement, and you can collect data from these banners. Then the first one for Mountain Doom, it was a campaign we ran last year. And for this, the ad was only serving when it's raining. So when it's raining, it gives you like a specific message. So after the rain, there are a lot of mosquitoes, I don't know, use Mountain Doom. So it was specifically connected using like API to the weather focus. So when it's raining, it automatically serves the ad. When it's not raining, you don't get to see the ad. And the other aspect is also on gamification inside Rich Media. I still have examples for this, how you can be able to increase better engagement of your brand, of your ads, by using a form of gamification. So where a user can actually, play a game. It's a game, but at the same time, it's an ad for your brand. And that is the first example is for Pepsi. The second one is for Fanta. And so an insurance can use such kind of ad format. The first two are for FMCG brands. Then the other trend that we are currently seeing is that advertisers are beginning to use an hybrid model of in-house when it comes to their media buying. So traditionally, we've seen brands using agencies for the advertising activities. But at the moment, we are seeing a global trend, and even locally here in Kenya, where brands are taking like their media buying in-house. A good example to use is Safaricom, and we've seen quite a huge trend when it comes to some of these huge brands, where they are taking the media buying bit of digital in-house, or they're using like an hybrid model, like so strategy is done by agencies, creative done by agencies, but then the media buying bit is done in-house. So that's one of the global trends that is also happening worldwide. At the same time, we can see it locally when it comes to programmatic advertising and just, in general, digital advertising. So this graph here basically shows how advertisers in-house digital media buying has changed and shaped like over the years. And at the moment, we are seeing that in-house operation is growing. In-house operation is the one in, I don't know which color is this, green, light green? Yeah. As you can see, it has grown like over the years. And it's a trend we're seeing globally, and it's a trend that we've begun seeing also here locally. Then the next trend is all screens going digital. So what do I mean by all screens going digital? So from desktop and mobile, which actually, even in our platform, we see that 83% of our traffic comes from mobile. And it's like mobile remains like the favorite connection medium for the online audiences. We also see out of home being served via digital platforms. Like you can actually buy out of home ad space, like from a digital platform. Then the other trend that we see is in-game advertising. So in-game advertising, I don't know how many people here have played PS. Anyone? Yeah, so say for example you're playing PS and inside the gaming environment you see a billboard. And that billboard is for an actual ad. You may not realize at that moment like you'd think it's just part of the game, but it's actually an ad that is being served inside the gaming environment, like that one for Samsung. So you're playing a game, maybe it's for cars, or I don't know, it's PS, and then you see those ad spaces. It could be like a screen, it could be like the one for Oral B. So like, say it's on this stadium on the side, but it's actually an actual ad. And this is also one of the trends that we are seeing in gaming advertising is growing. And we've brought it closer to you locally. You can actually serve ads to people who are playing PS, to people who are playing gaming ads inside the gaming environment. These ads are good for brand visibility. You cannot track metrics such as clicks. You cannot track conversions, but basically it's good for visibility. It's good for building brand love and building visibility in general. So just to share some data on the gaming ads, which is really growing, huge, as you can see. Gaming ads, under gaming apps, there's like 37% and 2 billion has been spent on gaming ads. And then even on social as well, there's like 34% and 74B has been spent. So gaming time spent and dollars are similar to social. This is data from last year. And then the other trend that we are seeing is evolution of TV. So TV evolution towards digital. Sorry. So when I talk about TV evolution in digital, like we've evolved over the years from just using like a broadcast linear TV to using cable TVs. And right now, I know most people here are using like smart TVs, which are connected to internet. And this is the present day. So we are all using smart TV, or even we are watching TV using our mobiles, or we are doing like multimedia device, like you're watching news, you're on Twitter at the same time. So basically, we've seen a new model for TVs, which is called CTV. CTV stands for Connected TV. So CTV is the fastest growing video format of serving ads. And I will show you, I'll demonstrate a quick example. You can play the video. Play the video for CTV. So I want to demonstrate for you what a CTV is. So this is a smart TV. This is actually a video that was recorded by my colleague. So he's switching through channels using his smart TV. He's trying to watch news. At the same time, he wants to watch like movie.
Trapped in an endless cycle. Fighting. I climb, as Sisyphus did, pushing the rope upward.
Yeah, and then his movie is interrupted with an ad. So we were running this ad for demo purposes. So that's one example. He was watching a movie.
Jack, last night the House
Then
passed a
it jumps
spending
back
bill
to
that funds
news.
the U.S. government and provides 13 points.
So basically, that's an example of CTV. Like if you, in Kenya, for example, if you're using like, smart TV, I don't know how many of you have heard about Plex. Those are some of the platforms where we can serve ads, or apps like if you have an app like Bloomberg. So it's like example of a placement where we serve like CTV ads. And at the moment, we're currently running a CTV ad for Equity. So if you come across an ad when you're watching a movie, I don't know, you're watching something on Plex. So that could definitely be an example of like a CTV ad. So CTV is the fastest growing video format. And it's predicted that by 2024, we will have like up to like 19 billion in terms of spends in using like connected TV. And the advantage about connected TV basically, the advantage about like connected TV is like, you know, you're able to target like a household, and like traditional TV ads, you're able to like even target like some specific audience. Like you want to target people only interested in business, so you can serve ads to people who are watching like business channels. If you want to target people interested in entertainment or in sports, you have that capability to do so under CTV, as opposed to like traditional TV advertising. Then global content is basically winning basically over the globe. So in terms of like where you serve ads, like any content that is global is where you need to be able to incorporate it in terms of your placements. So local platforms drive 15 to 20% of online consumption, and whereas apps are 70% of consumption happens in apps, and global platforms are ideally dominating time spent on ad inventory. So by ad inventory, I mean like sites that you go to read online, like the likes of CNN, New York Times, or just global apps, any content that is global basically is dominating in terms of ad inventory. So yeah, so that's it. If you have any questions, feel free to ask now. Any questions? Looks like we don't have a question. Anything you'd like to clarify? Okay, so if you do not have any question, feel free to reach out. That's, yes?
So I was not able to get much. And you are giving us some information in your presentation where you can use game advertising while you're using, my eyes have really catched the connected CTV, connected TV. And I was asking, is there, is it an app or something that you use that you can be able to navigate moving from the advertisement back to the movie you are watching? Is it something that, is it an app being used, or there is a system, or how do you do it?
Okay, so the video I just showed, that was my colleague was actually trying to shift between like different channels. So at one point he was watching news, at the other point he wanted to watch like a movie, and then it gets served like an ad in the middle of that process. So, and how you are able to serve those ads, you're able to serve those ads like through our platform. It's a platform where you're able to like set up a campaign, you know, with target audience, with say the region you want to target, like with an X budget, you want to reach like X number of people. Then now the ad is served to that particular target audience that you've selected, and it's served to them in whichever channel they go to, as long as they are part of the target audience. I don't know if I've answered your question.
It is a skill that maybe is available that you can be able to know how to do it for yourself. But then you have advice that I need to network and get in touch with you. And I think that is the important, if we decide to go that direction.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. I think we can connect after this. Any other question? Great. So if you want to reach out, just feel in touch. We are here with my colleague. feel free to reach out. Thank you so much.
afternoon. Good afternoon. Are we still enjoying the learning? Yes? Tell your neighbor we're about to get into another great masterclass called Meta Masterclass. So Meta Boost, I have two very good panelists on this fireside chat. I have Doris Mutungi. Is Doris with us? Founder, Afro Haven Vacations. Yes, please come. My other panelist is Job Gashero, digital strategist and media planner at Creighton Group. Karibuni sana. Thank you so much for being here with us. So we could definitely start with your introduction and what you do. I know I've already said who you are, but probably you can expound a bit.
Hello, everyone. Yeah, my name is Job Githinji, and as previously introduced, I am the founder and CEO of a company called Creighton Group. And I'll be briefly giving you a history of the Creighton Group as you continue, but for now, I think I'll pass it off to my colleague.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Doris Mutungi. I am the founder of a travel firm called Afro Haven Vacations, and I'm also a digital consultant and a trainer with MetaBoost.
MetaBoost. All right. So we will start with you, Doris. Tell us what is MetaBoost all about.
Okay. So MetaBoost, formerly known as Boost with Facebook, is a training program that seeks to equip small business owners with digital skills to grow their businesses, and specifically the three Meta platforms, that is Facebook, WhatsApp, and Instagram. It rebranded to MetaBoost because, as you may know, last year, around October, Facebook rebranded to Meta. Not Facebook the app. Facebook the app is still called Facebook. But Facebook, the parent company that houses the three, is the one that rebranded to Meta. So Meta is all about increasing the digital knowledge of business owners, especially small business owners in Africa and beyond. And that is why they came up with the program, MetaBoost. And it's something that we train on with Meta's partner called Wild International. Job and I train on MetaBoost. And yeah, we train all kinds of corporations from very big, like banks and insurance firms, all the way to really small, startups that are starting up. Hakuna ubaguzi, and they're free of charge. So that's what MetaBoost is all about.
Okay. Yeah. Starting with you, now that you have trained, I'm sure you have gone through using these platforms for your business. Maybe you can tell us your story. What is your story with working with these platforms for your business?
Okay, thank you for that. So my business story is very interesting. I never imagined myself as a businesswoman. I grew up wanting to become, the famous three career choices: daktari, lawyer, engineers and the like. But I got some character development after graduating from college. Looked for a job for quite a while. It wasn't forthcoming. Plus, I wasn't very, very, passionate about what I had studied. I studied actuarial science, partly because, we had been told you study, then you graduate, then you finish.
You get a good job.
You don't get a good job. They hunt you down. Even before you graduate, they come for you,
yes.
In your classes and hunt you and pull you to their offices. Lakini, we soon realized vitu kwa ground.
Nobody came looking
different.
for you.
No one. Yeah, so anyway, I also was not passionate. So I got a family member who invested in a cottage down in Diani.
and told me, since you're not doing anything, how about you manage this and you market for us? And this was in 2015. Facebook page was pretty new then, at least to me. So that's the first platform that I put this property, just one property. And within a month, I got so many inquiries and even bookings, and I realized, okay, this is working, and it's something that I enjoyed. So there were so many other similar properties, holiday homes and villas in Diani. I went literally door to door, talking to these owners and telling them whether they would be interested in me marketing for them. I realized those properties are really good, near the beach, with very good facilities, but they really lacked what we call visibility, because nowadays we say, if you're not online, you are as good as not, existent.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's how my business idea started. Then I went all across the coast, Mombasa, Mtwapa, Kilifi, Malindi, and by the time I finished that whole coastline, I think I had 40 to 50 properties whose owners wanted me to manage and market for them. And I realized, okay, I think there's an opportunity here. And that's how I started my company, Afrohaven Vacations. Our focus mainly was marketing and connecting people to these vacation homes, which was a cheaper alternative to hotels. And that's how we were able to penetrate into the travel industry. So for me, even as I train on MetaBoost and these platforms, it's something that I've seen the power. I started by putting these properties. After a short while, I started getting people saying, I do take people, to other countries. So I've grown to, that one cottage in Diani, to taking people to Dubai and Singapore and Thailand and the Maldives, just from Facebook and Instagram so far. Yeah.
Job, would you like to tell us your story?
Yes, thank you very much. So my history and the story of my company comes in at an interesting time. My company was born from COVID, and it has flourished because of COVID. I know maybe most of the businesses that most people have been doing, most of them collapsed during the COVID time. But in 2019, I remember, that's when I decided to say quits to my employment journey, because I felt that I was not growing as an individual. So I had always had an interest in specific projectors, because I've been a trainer with, I was working under the MasterCard Foundation, and I was a trainer for digital literacy. So in 2019, when I decided to call it quits, I realized that there's a problem in the field. When we go to teach about digital literacy, maybe you go to a place and then the electricity goes out. You see, there had to become a need of using an equipment that does not need electricity to continue teaching digital literacy, because digital literacy does not occur if a digital equipment has not been used to showcase. So I remember I partnered up with a company in Japan. They are original design manufacturers. They call ODM, but not for the party. They are original design manufacturers, whereby you have the design, so they're going to help you get the equipment to complete and actually actualize that dream of yours. So I came up with a projector called, a small projector. It was actually the size of an egg, a cube projector that is rechargeable, whereby you could go to any place and light that projector, and you can use it on a smartphone, wirelessly. You can connect it with a laptop. It has a storage. It had like 16 GB, so it had everything that you needed. You didn't even need to carry a laptop. And then everything, I showed it to my partners, to my friends. They were happy. I got partners to actually even launch that specific projector as Creighton projectors. So initially, my company started it as Creighton projectors. So the date of the launch was set on the 15th of March 2020. And the country was locked down on the 9th of March 2020. So you can imagine everything had been planned, they sponsored, the investors, everything was set. But now the country was locked down, so I could not launch my product. So the money for sponsorship went down, events, everything. So of course it was discouraging, because this was literally my $1 million project. I'm saying, yes, this is my Kuomoka.
Yes.
And then, unfortunately, because of that incident, I kind of had to go back to the drawing board and realize that I need to come up with something which was needed at that specific time. So I realized that during that specific time, during COVID, most people went into baking. Many people, companies, baking, bakers actually came to be born. So I realized that this is actually an opportunity that I can actually tap into before it is saturated by a number of guys. So I started working with looking for, like, for example, ovens to sell. Like maybe I buy on wholesale and then sell it on retail. I had to look for a source of the source of the source. You understand? Like I got a source who gave me another source, who eventually gave me another source. Where, of course, the more source that you get, the cheaper it is, and therefore that is what you get. You make it cheaper for the client. So yeah, so that's why I started with an oven. I started with a mixer. I started like these basically the things which are needed in baking. And then all of a sudden I got customers. Okay, it not start, of course, as directly, because now I had to know how to target, and my biggest targets were bakers. Eventually I grew from not only selling for example, baking equipment. A company approached me because of my page, because my page started growing, approached me and told me, now we've seen how you're performing when you're selling these bakers, these cookers and ovens and mixers, so why can't you, sell this for us?
How big was your page that time?
Actually, it had actually 500 followers and likes.
And you were getting customers with those.
And I was getting actually legitimate customers who were actually buying, not just people who were just watching and liking.
Yes.
People were actually buying because I was very specific in targeting. First of all, I started with targeting bakers. And secondly, for me, it was actually, I had to target women because I realized that actually women buy.
Yes, they do this.
You see, so I was very specific. So I started with selling, the company approached me. I started selling washing machines. Before you know it, I started selling TVs. And before, let's say 3 to 4 months, I was selling basically all home appliances.
Wow.
Yes, so pole too, because I had to target the right people who are actually going to buy. So pole, I continued with that, and then I diversed from, it was Creighton projectors, and I had Creighton home appliances. And then I had a company that was, my spouse actually does baking. So I combined all these companies and called it Creighton Group, because now it is actually a group of companies. There's projectors, there's pasteleria, there's Creighton projectors.
So you have not given up on your projectors?
I have not given up, not yet, not yet.
Great stuff.
Thank you.
Let's talk about your online presence and how important it is to have an online presence. I know now everybody is always about the likes. How many likes have I gotten on Instagram on a certain picture, But what's the importance of having an online presence, and is it important to have a large online presence or a small online presence? How is it?
Of course, they say the more the merrier, and the more the better, because what happens is, it all depends on a number of factors. Like, for example, when I was setting out my page on maybe Instagram or Facebook, I had to be very specific in the kind of target people who are going to actually like my page. Like, for example, statistics has proven that 91% of the people who see your ad do not buy. 91% of the people who see your ad do not buy. You're left with 9%. From the 9%, 5% consider, and 4% actually buy.
Wow.
Understand?
Let's just go back through that math again. So
Yes.
91%?
91% of the people who see your ad, I'm sure most of you had such an experience, true?
Yes.
Do not buy completely.
They'll just look at
They
it.
just look at it like, meh, and then they move on. You see? So you're left with 9%. From the 9%, 5% will be like, okay, so this person sells this kind of equipment. Maybe I will consider. You see now, consider. But remember, the 91% are aware you exist as a business.
Yes.
5% will consider, and then eventually 4% are the people who know what they want and they're going to buy from you. So from 100 people that you target, only 4 are going to buy.
Only 4?
Yes, but you always have to take them on the customer journey of awareness, consideration, and conversion. So when the 4% buy, the 5% are going to move to the 4% cap, whereby they'll be like, I considered when I saw you, this specific product or service you're offering. So right now I'm considering to buy, and now I'm going to buy and convert into a customer. Yes.
All right. What about you? What do you think about
Online presence.
yes, online presence?
Like I said, online presence is all about visibility. Are you visible? Do you exist in the online world? Do people know you? Do you have a voice? Do you have followers? So it's really, really important to have a strong online presence, and it's part of what you train on. How do you build it? How do you grow it? How do you start organically, and then move on from that? But over and above having a large following, you need to be strategic about how you use this following, how you use your audience. One of the things that we train on when it comes to Facebook ads is the different kind of audiences that you have. Okay, so there's what we call a custom audience. A custom audience are, say, all the people who have, like Job said, they have seen your product, seen your whatever you've marketed, and have bought, from you. Is there a way you record those people? At times especially when you're starting up, we don't do business strategically. People come, they buy from you, you're happy, you take the money, and you forget about them. These are people you should have sort of in a CRM of sorts so that you can retarget them, okay? So it's important to really strategically use, yes, you may have a large following, but you need to know how do you optimize or maximize on this large following. How do you retarget them? How do you get clients that are similar to them and sort of push your products to them as well?
All right, and talking about that, I'm in the communication industry, and every client will always ask me where are the numbers, yeah? And what I've seen, there has been a very sharp decline in organic reach. A while back, you would post a picture on a page that has probably 5,000, and probably all those 5,000 will see. But now, you will find you'll get 200 or even 100 likes. How is that?
Yeah, I've also I've also experienced that, and initially I was very upset because when I started, my company and put it online, getting likes, people to like the page, getting people to engage with me was pretty easy. I'd put maybe $10, $15 and get a lot of engagement, but I realized it had been decreasing. Now, it's important to note the reason it does that are two. One, there's an increase in the number of people who are joining social media, that's one. And two, also an increase in the number of businesses that are joining this space. So the more the people, the more the competition, really. And something that I came to learn later on, and that's why I'm very passionate about educating ourselves about social media is, when you put out your content out there on social media or, an ad, it enters a sort of a competition. You're competing for attention from all these people. It's not automatically that it will be shown. I think Job has said it very well. It's not automatic that it will be shown to everybody. Okay, so it's a competition, and there are a couple of factors that determine, the content that is shown to people. One is how relevant is this content to the people you're targeting. And of course, we know Facebook and all these social media platforms use algorithms, and there's a way these algorithms are able to tell this content is relevant to these people, so they show it more, and this is not relevant, so it will be showed less. So people say in social media, quality is more important than quantity. Okay?
Yes.
So even as you push out your content, as you create your content, take more time to craft content that you know is relevant to your audience, content that you know your audience will engage with. Because if you may post a lot of content, and that is what initially we used to talk about. You can be very, consistent in posting, but if it's low quality, then your content will be shown to less and less people. If people see your content and just go through it, or some people say, don't show me this ad again, or don't show me, it really affects even your future content. So take time to understand your audience. Take time to understand what resonates with them. Take time to understand what is relevant to them. and then craft such kind of content. And the more you do it, then the more your reach increases. But anyway, as I said, the reach, yes, has decreased. One, because of more people are getting into this space, and we are all, we all want the attention of everybody. So it's just natural. And secondly, if you do not understand how these things work, you really waste a lot of money, in terms of ads, and you don't get the results.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, Job, tell us about creating a Facebook ad. I know that you've been talking about one thing, which is targeting. And targeting has been very hard for a lot of brands. How do you target? How do you create a successful campaign with a Facebook ad?
I think it still boils back to whatever we were discussing about targeting, because if you target the right people, you're going to get the right customers who are actually going to buy. But if you don't target the right people, your ad is going to spend money and you won't convert.
Yes.
And I can give it as an example of a company that was actually managing their page. Because you need to, as I said, you need to understand your audience. And what seems to be obvious is not what is obviously there. I can give an example. I was managing a company that was selling ladies' clothes, boutique. And I was given two different types of clothes. There's one they normally call mother of the bride, and the one which is normally ladies' skater dresses. So the target audience of mother of the bride is elderly women, and the target audience for the skater dresses are the young women. Now, so I did an A/B test. Actually, you normally call it an A/B test because you want to gauge how it's actually performing. And to my surprise, as much as I targeted the mother of the bride to the elderly women, because I had to look at a specific age, and the skater dresses for the younger women, my shock was that the results were inverted in terms of who saw what was not deserved, or rather, who saw what was not he or she was not supposed to see. Because I realized the younger ladies, I mean, the skater dresses was being clicked and liked and actually bought more by the older ladies, the elderly women. And the mother of the bride was being purchased and inquired more about by the younger ladies. You see, that was not what I actually
Expected.
yes.
Yeah.
Only to come to learn, because I went to the boutique and asked how it performed, is that I realized the younger ladies are the ones who are visiting the boutique to buy mother of the bride clothes for their mothers.
Oh, okay.
And the skater dresses are being bought by elderly women because they want to look younger. So I was actually shocked. I was like, okay.
That's
You see,
interesting,
so
yeah.
for me that was actually a shock, because that was not my target. So I realized that this is how it actually, like, vitu kwa ground any different. It's not what you think it is.
Yeah.
When you think you're targeting a specific audience and you expect a specific result, customer needs always change. It's never fixed. That's why even Facebook was also changing depending on the circumstance or the situation of the world and how the world is trending. So that's among the things that actually are really. So when you're creating an ad, you have to be, at times also you have to test. You cannot be 100% sure, or you have to test the ground. So that, because I'm sure maybe most of you have seen an ad you've posted on Facebook, and you're told, and a notification comes to you and tells you that this ad is doing 95% better than whatever you posted.
Yes,
You see,
yes.
because it has identified that it resonates with the people who you'd actually targeted previously. So that is how basically you have to test the ground to understand how people are actually thinking and operating before you actually reach out to do an ad that you can spend a lot of money, so that maybe people can convert into sales. Yeah.
Okay, Doris, on your end, what are the things that I should be looking at when I'm, creating an ad on Facebook? I've seen that now it's even targeting to even Nairobi
Yeah.
and different sectors.
Yeah.
Probably you can take us through.
Yeah. I think let me see how I can take you like step by step. The first thing we should always ask ourselves when we are creating any ad is, what is your goal? So like Job mentioned earlier, there are three main goals when it comes to Facebook ads. There's awareness. You're new and you want people to know about your company. That is awareness. There's consideration. People know about you a bit, and you want them to start, engaging with you. That is what we call consideration. Then there's conversion. Conversion is people have known about you, you've been there for a while, and now they want to take specific actions. They want to buy from you. They want to take any specific action that you want. Now, there's one mistake many people make, because we want to go to Facebook today, create a page today, tomorrow,
And
get
you make
people,
money tomorrow.
make money, you know?
That's me.
That's you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good to be honest. And you know that doesn't work.
Has
It,
never
it,
worked.
it never works. It never works because you first need people to know about you. You want people to be aware that your company exists. So that should be your first goal when you're starting off. And then once you've built your awareness, then now these people can come and start purchasing from you. So the first thing, what's your goal? Secondly, what's your specific objective? Objective can be you want people to like your page. That is an objective. You want to drive traffic to your website. Say you have an online store. Okay, you want to drive people to your website. You have an app, a new app. You want people to install it. That is a specific objective. So it will ask you, what is your objective? Thirdly, it will ask you, how much do you want to spend? So there's an amount that you will need to put. When you're starting off, spend as little as possible because you want to understand how it works. The least you can spend a day is $1, all the way to whatever amount. Then the next thing it will ask is your duration. How long do you want this ad to run? Again, it's advisable, don't have very few days because it takes a while. Remember, these are not people working, at the back end. It's their machines. So give them time to understand your audience. Give them time to understand how your product is performing. So 5 to 7 days. Then creative. Creative is very important. The image or the video. It's advisable people say videos have better engagement, because they attract people's attention. So many people are just scrolling, so you want to capture people's attention. A few best practices about videos. It is said the shorter, the better. Recommended time is actually 15 seconds for your video. And whatever message you want to pass across, it's advisable you pass it within the first
5 seconds.
Actually, it has gone down to 3. So whatever
Wow.
message you're passing, because, I think you said 5 because of YouTube. That it gives you 5 seconds before you can skip.
Before you
It's
can skip
actually
the
gone
ad.
to 3. You have to be really creative and pass your message very, very fast. And then also for videos, it's advisable to design it to work even if the volume is off. Because, people are at work and they're on social media. They don't want to have so you still want your message to be passed without, the volume and all that. So, those are some of the things to have in mind when creating your ad. And last but not least is the audience and what he's talking about. Knowing your target, where are you targeting? If your products are only for people here in Nairobi, make sure you just choose Nairobi. You'll waste